discuss about geography prelims PYQs. See, when you start any preparation, when you start any subject preparation, you have to start with PYQs so that you know how UPSC is asking questions, and on the basis of PYQs, you can see the syllabus, you can start the preparation, how in depth we have to prepare the topics, all that we will see. Now, when you see geography prelims questions, last year, little bit conceptual questions they have asked. First, we will start with physical geography PYQs. Now, when you see first question, scientific studies suggest that a shift is taking place in the Earth's rotation and axis. Next, statement 2, solar flares and associated coronal mass ejections bombarded the Earth's outermost atmosphere with the tremendous amount of energy. Now, statement 3, as the Earth's polar ice melts, the water tends to move towards the equator. See, when you see nowadays trend, all statements they are giving, and in that statement they are asking whether statement 1 is correct, whether statement 2 is correct, where both are correct, and they are asking even explanation also. So we have to look into each statement. When you see the Earth's rotation and axis, see, Earth's rotation shifting is taking place due to redistribution of Earth's mass. This phenomenon is called polar motion. Now, what is polar motion, ma'am? See, when you see Earth, suppose here mountains are there, and see, mass is redistributed, right? Now, the weight, the mass, all the physical features, mass is redistributed on the Earth. Now, this distribution of Earth's mass is redistributed. Why? Because melting of glaciers. Suppose here glaciers are there. Example, here glaciers are melting, and that melting water are moving downwards Earth. Now here the mass will be decreased. Yes. Now here the mass will be increased. Like that, redistribution of Earth's mass is taking place. And one more reason, this is human activity. Because of human activity also, groundwater depletion. More we are depleting groundwater, the mass will be decreased in the ground level also. Yes or no? Interior. Next, Earth interior dynamics. The changes in mantle because of convectional currents and because of interior parts of the Earth, redistribution of mass is taking place. This phenomenon is called polar motion. Because of that, now Earth axis is shifting. First point. Yes, that statement is true. This statement is correct. Now, when you talk about solar flares and associated coronal mass ejections, see, you have to prepare the subject along with current affairs. First, when you see the questions, why this question is asked, you have to think like that. Why this question is asked? Why the statement is, because it is in news. These solar flares and these coronal mass ejections are also in current affairs. First, what are solar flares, madam? Now we will discuss in depth about the solar flares. Sorry. When you talk about solar flares, solar means it is related to sun. Yes. Now, when you take the interior part of the sun, you have layer wise. Now, this is core. Next, you will be having radioactive zone. Next, you will be having convectional zone. Next, you will be having photosphere. And next, chromosphere. Next, a thin layer, that is transition zone. What? Transition zone or a region we can call. Transition region. And last outermost layer, it is corona. Now these three are inner layers. Now these four are outer layers. Why we are reading layers, madam? Because now this time they have asked about solar flares. Now next time they can ask where solar flares occur. Now solar flares occur here in corona region, but near sunspot. See, now I'll tell you, here in corona you will see nuclear fusion reaction where hydrogen is converted into helium, means hydrogen atoms will fusion to form helium. Here nuclear fusion energy is created. Now what is photosphere? This layer and this one is very important. Now we have to study about these two layers. What is photosphere? Photosphere, in this layer we will see the visible light. When we see the sun, that visible light is present in this photosphere layer. Because of this photosphere layer, because of this light, we can see the sun. Means whatever we will see, the sun, the red light, this is that layer. Here sunspots are occur. What are sunspots? Sunspots are dark cooler regions where you will see strongest or powerful magnetic radiations. Now this corona, in this corona region, it is outermost layer. Here you will see solar flares and coronal mass ejections. See, these solar flares are almost near sunspots. Here sunspots, these dark cooler regions have stronger electromagnetic radiations, and these electromagnetic radiations are responsible for this solar flares. What are solar flares? Solar flares are large explosions from sun, like this. Large explosions from sun, large explosions of electromagnetic radiations from sun. These solar flares are that will disturb the communication, satellite, all these things. Why they have asked about solar flares? Because it is in news. You know Aditya L1, our spacecraft. It has taken first picture of solar flares in Feb. Next, strongest solar flare is seen in October 2024, X9. Because of these two, they have asked about solar flares, but they never asked facts. So when you see any current affair news, you have to relate the current affair news in scientific way, in geographical way. See, this is related to science and tech. Yes or no? Most of the students, what they will see? Aditya L1, now they have taken it has taken first picture in February, so they will see about Aditya L1. But whenever you see current affairs, you have to think about even geographical aspect also. Now next they can ask where solar flares are occur and near sunspot. Now where sunspots are seen, they can ask, right? Next. So bombarded the outermost. Now this is true. As the Earth's polar ice melts, the water tends to move towards the equator. Yes. Now whenever glaciers or polar ice melts, they move towards the Earth. And here you have to see All three statements are correct, but what they are asking, which one of the following is correct in respect of above statements? Both statement 2 and statement 3 are correct. Both of them explain statement 1. See what? These two are correct and they are saying these two explain statement 1. Now both statement 2 and statement 3 are correct, but only one of them explains statement 1. Only one of the statements 2 and 3 is correct and that explains statement 1. Neither statement 2 nor statement 3 is correct. Now this is wrong because all three statements are correct. Now only one of the three. No, this is also wrong. All three statements are correct. See, whenever you talk about this shift is nothing to do with solar flares, right? So this statement is correct, but this does not explain statement 1. So what will be the option? B will be the option. Both statement 2 and 3 are correct, but only one of them explains statement 1. Which one? Statement 3. Because of polar ice melts, the water comes down towards the equator, then the redistribution of mass takes place. And because of that redistribution, Earth's rotation axis is shifting. These two are interrelated. Next question. Now, which one of the following are the evidences of phenomenon of continental drift? The belt of ancient rocks from Brazil coast matches with those from Western Africa. The gold deposits of Ghana are derived from the Brazil plateau when the two continents lay side by side. The Gondwana system of sediments from India is known to have its counterparts in 6 different land masses of southern hemisphere. Select the correct answer using the code below. See, whenever you see any drift theory or anything, you have to read all the aspects of that theory. Then you can revise the topics from PYQs. Because when you see, themes will be repeated. Not the questions, themes will be repeated. Now they have asked about evidences. Next, they can ask about force that are responsible for the drift. Next, they can ask about in a different way how continental drift theory led to plate tectonic study. Like that, they can ask. Now, first we will talk about continental drift. See, most of the students they will know about continental drift theory. Continental drift theory. Continental drift theory was given by Alfred Wegener in 1920s. It's all about the movements of continents, split drift in the continents, movements of the continents, and how our present continents are formed, how present continents are moving, how present continents are drifting. Now, this Alfred Wegener in 1920s, he said that, excuse me, he has given that one big landmass and this Pangaea is surrounded by Panthalassa. This Panthalassa means ocean, water. Now this Pangaea is drifting, is splitting. Around 250 million years ago, this started splitting in Mesozoic era. In Mesozoic era, it started splitting. And now it is moving towards equator. Sorry, excuse me. Now he has given example, this is Earth. Now this is a landmass. First it is here. Now he said it is moving towards equator side, and it is moving towards west. Why it is moving, he has given, because of two forces it is moving. Now this Pangea is splitting like this, and this split, sorry, equator towards west side. Excuse me. Splitting. The north part is called Laurasia. The southern part is called Gondwana land. Now, one sea, the Tethys Sea divided these two land masses. Now it is moving equatorwards and to the west side. Why? Because he said polar fleeing force and earth rotation. Sorry, currents, because of tidal currents. Earth is moving from west to east. Because of that, this drifting is placed. This, sorry, you can see this drift. He has given this thesis. Now, for this, provided this evidences for continental drift theory. They have asked questions on continental drift theory. First, apparent affinity of physical features. Apparent affinity means when you see South Africa and Africa, the Brazilian area, like this map, physical features like borders are closely related. When you see, they have same border areas, same structures. And when you even see India, Madagascar also, when you see world map, you can see that. Botanical evidence. Botanical evidence, some species like Glossopteris, that it has seen in India, even Madagascar, means before splitting, they were all together. All the land masses were together. Now they are drifting like this. Now, placer deposits, gold deposits. When you see Africa here, western, in Ghana coast, you will see the gold deposits. But no, what you will say? Only gold veins are seen, but actual here, Brazilian plateau. Actual parent rock, you can say, that is seen in Brazilian plateau, means when they have drifted, when they moved apart, the veins are that side, and the actual main plateau, whatever the mother parent rock is here. Next, tillite deposits. Tillite deposits are glacial deposits, sedimentary rocks formed due to glacier deposits. Now, these sedimentary rocks or these tillite deposits are seen in 6 different countries. Polar wandering distribution of fossils. When you see lemurs are seen in India, Madagascar, Africa. And these together, they called it as Lemuria. Next, rocks of same age across the oceans. We have seen rocks of same age across the ocean even in Brasilia, Africa, South Africa. So what they are, these evidences support continental drift theory. But what are the criticisms? Why drift has taken place only in Mesozoic era? Why not before that Mesozoic era? Why not in Paleozoic? Criticism have taken place. And from that criticism, next theory is seafloor spreading theory. Next, like that. Now, plate tectonics. Because of plate tectonics, all the drifting was taking place. Now they have explained modern science. Next. After listening to continental drift theory, belt of Asian currents, now this is true. Gold deposits of Ghana derived from Brazilian plateau. This is also true. Gondwana system, 6 different land masses. What sediments? This is also true. The answer is 1, 2, 3. If you know each and every evidence, if you are aware of each and every evidence and forces, complete theory, then you can answer this question. Next, the amount of dust particles in the atmosphere is more in subtropical and temperate areas than in equatorial and polar regions. Subtropical and temperate areas have less dry winds. Which one of the following is correct in respect of the above statements? Now, when you talk about subtropical and temperate regions, equator, Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Capricorn, Arctic Circle, sorry, Antarctic Circle, next here, Arctic Circle. These are the basic latitudes we all know. Now, here 0 degrees, now 23.5 north, 66.5 north. Here North Pole, here South Pole. Now these three together, tropics. Temperate, polar. Polar. Now here. Between tropic and temperate, between 23.5 degrees and 40 degrees north and even south, you will see subtropical region. Whenever you see subtropical region, in subtropical region, you will see dry winds. Because of that dry winds, you will see more dust particles. Why? Because most of the area, most of the regions, you will see deserts. Like largest desert, like Sahara Desert is in subtropical areas. And even in temperate regions also, you will see dry winds and dust particles. Concentration of dust particle is more in subtropical areas. Next, because of deserts, because of dry winds and low vegetation, means less forest. Because of this, you will see more dust particles in subtropical and temperate regions. So the amount of dust is more in subtropical. And when you see equatorial and polar regions, in equatorial, you will see the humidity more, precipitation is more. So dry winds are very low. No dry winds means dust particles will be less, have less. Subtropical and temperate have less dry winds. If they have less dry winds, they don't have high amount of dust particles, right? So what will be the answer? Both statement 1 and 2 are correct and statement 2 explains statement 1? No. Both statement 1 and 2 are correct, but statement 2 does not explain. No. Statement 1 is correct, but statement 2 is not correct. This will be the answer. See, whenever you see the statements, if one statement is wrong, you can easily eliminate the options and you will get the answer easily. Next. In January, the northern hemisphere, the isotherms bend equator while crossing the landmass and poleward while crossing the oceans. In January, the air over oceans is warmer than that over the landmasses in northern hemisphere. See, isotherms. What are isotherms? Lines connecting the same temperature. Example. Now, when you take Earth, now this example, all these areas have same temperatures. Now, these dots connecting a line is known as isotherm. Means these places they are having same temperature. Now what they are asking, why these isotherms bend towards equator in, they have asked about January. Yes, January, winter. When you see in winter, they shift towards equator, closer to the tropics. Why? When you take land and when you take ocean, land heats quickly and cools quickly. But when you take ocean, it takes time to cool and it takes time to heat. For example, now equator. Sorry. Now here ocean is there. In January, to get same temperature or to get same temperature, the ocean is warm, right? It takes time to cool. So it requires polar winds. Like when you move towards polar region, the area will be cool. So the same temperature, example, if 0 degree temperature is there. Here on the land, you can see 0 degree temperature here. But if ocean has to get that 0 degrees, it has to move towards polar region. Yes. Why closer to the tropics and land losses quickly? Because land, this isotherm move towards equator and in oceans it move towards polar region, and on the land mass it move towards equatorial region. Here down it bends towards south and remains steady over most. When you see the oceans, it most of the time the isotherm will be steady, and in January it will bend like this. Okay. Now temperature would be well below freezing point everywhere on earth. Sorry, we will discuss the question first. Now both statements are correct. Now statement 2 explain ocean is warmer than over landmass. That explains statement 1. Now atmosphere temperature would be well below freezing point everywhere on earth's surface. Heat absorbed and trapped by the atmosphere maintains our planet's average temperature. Atmosphere gases like carbon dioxide are particularly good at absorbing and trapping radiation. See, when you see atmosphere acts like a blanket to our earth. What atmosphere will do? Atmosphere acts like a blanket on Sarah. Act like a blanket. It will retain solar energy. It will retain solar heat because of greenhouse gases. Greenhouse gases like methane, what they will do? They will absorb long wave radiation, infrared radiation like carbon dioxide, and they will absorb the heat from earth, and they will emit some of the, and they will re-radiate into the earth. Means they will maintain the heat budget because of this atmosphere, because of this greenhouse gases, all the gases present in the atmosphere, heat budget is maintained, and because of that heat budget, we neither feel very cool, we neither feel very hot. If atmosphere is not there, this layer is not present, the Earth's temperature would be below freezing point. So this is correct. Heat absorbed and trapped by the atmosphere maintains our planet's average temperature. This is also correct. Like carbon dioxide are particularly good at absorbing. And see, you know the greenhouse effect, right? They will absorb and they will trap. And it is very good. And because of that greenhouse effect, heat budget is maintained. All 1, 2, and 3 are correct. See, in this session, we have discussed only 5 questions. But when you see previous year questions, now the trend is changing. They are asking all the concepts. We will start with very basics in future classes. First 4 to 5 classes, we will discuss previous year questions. And after discussing previous year questions, how depth they are asking, we will see the analysis, and then we will go into the topics theme wise, first with physical geography, next with Indian geography. Like that we will move on, and in that I will clear all the concepts. First I'll start with the basics with evolution,